in the heart of Akata village, nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, there existed a belief as old as time itself. The gods were merciful and compassionate. But when their anger was roused, it was worse than any nightmare imaginable. Unfortunately for the inhabitants of Akata, they found themselves squarely in the crosshairs of divine fury. Life had taken a dark turn for the village. Livestock perished by the dozens. Their once robust bodies are now mere skeletons strewn across the barren fields. Crops withered under the relentless sun, refusing to yield even the smallest morsel of sustenance. The land, once fertile and bountiful, now lay desolate and cursed. The villagers prayed fervently for salvation, but their pleas seemed to fall on deaf ears as the wrath of the gods continued unabated. Desperation and fear gripped the hearts of the people as they struggled to survive in a world turned upside down by divine retribution. King Adewale, ruler of Akata, paced restlessly within the confines of his humble palace. His furrowed brow betrayed the weight of his worries. The lines were etched deep with concern and distress. As the leader of his people, it fell upon his shoulders to seek a solution to their plight, to appease the wrathful gods, and to restore prosperity to his kingdom. Gathered in the grand hall, the council of elders deliberated fervently, their voices a cacophony of desperation and despair. Yet, amid the turmoil, one voice rose above the rest, clear and unwavering. "We must seek the counsel of the oracle," declared Elder Adebayo, his eyes gleaming with fervent determination. "Only he holds the key to appeasing the gods and lifting this curse from our land." With a collective nod of agreement, the council knew that their fate now lay in the hands of the oracle. The decision was made, and preparations began for the perilous journey to seek out the wise seer. With unanimous agreement, a solemn procession made its way to the sacred grove where the oracle resided, deep within the heart of the forest. Enveloped in an aura of mystique and reverence, the oracle awaited their arrival. His presence commanding respect and awe. "Speak, O oracle," implored King Adewale, bowing low before him. "Our village languishes under the weight of divine wrath. What must we do to earn the favor of the gods once more?" The oracle's eyes, pools of ancient wisdom, bore into the depths of the king's soul. His words, laden with solemnity, echoed through the hallowed grave. "The gods are not appeased by mere offerings or sacrifices of animals," he intoned. But then, the oracle continued, his voice grave and unwavering. "There is, however, one path to redemption. The gods demand a sacrifice, a gesture of utmost devotion and humility." The king's heart sank as he listened intently, dreading what could come next. "The only way to appease the gods and end their wrath is for you, King Adewale, to sacrifice your only son," the oracle declared, his gaze unwavering. Gasps echoed through the assembly, and King Adewale felt a surge of anguish and despair. Sacrifice his own flesh and blood? It was a price he was not sure he could pay. Yet, the weight of his duty as king bore down upon him like a heavy yoke. The oracle's words hung heavy in the air, the gravity of the situation weighing heavily on King Adewale's shoulders. As he looked at his son, a sense of dread and determination settled within him. Knowing that a decision had to be made, Sacrificing his own son was a choice that would test not only his devotion to the gods, but also his love as a father. For days, King Adewale struggled with his conscience, divided between his love for his son and his responsibility to his people. With a heavy heart, he made his decision. The king summoned his son, the young Prince Adewale Jr., to his side and explained the oracle's pronouncement. Tears welled in the young prince's eyes as he knew what fate awaited him, but he bravely accepted his father's choice. Weeks after the death of the king's son, the country began to flourish again. Crops flourished, livestock increased, and wealth returned to Akata. King Adewale, whose heart was heavy with the remembrance of his son's sacrifice, sought solace in his kingdom's renewed prosperity. He knew that his son's sacrifice had not been in vain, and he took comfort in the fact that his people were thriving once more. The king knew that his son's legacy would live on through the prosperity of Akata. Yet, amidst the celebration, a shadow loomed over the village. The oracle, once revered as the bringer of wisdom, now watched from the sidelines with a cold and calculating gaze. His heart burned with bitterness and resentment, for he harbored a dark secret that threatened to unravel the fragile peace of Akata. It was the oracle himself who had brought the calamity upon the land. Driven by a deep-seated hatred for King Adewale, long ago, he had loved a woman who had chosen the king over him, and in his rage, he had cursed the land with misfortune, orchestrating events to lead to the sacrifice of the king's son. Now, as prosperity returned to Akata, the oracle seethed with envy and malice. He watched as King Adewale welcomed a newborn daughter into the world, a symbol of hope and renewal for the kingdom. But his heart remained cold and unforgiving, consumed by thirst for revenge. As the villagers rejoiced in their newfound happiness, unaware of the dark cloud that loomed overhead, the oracle plotted in silence, his hatred burning brighter with each passing day. As the villagers basked in the glow of their renewed prosperity, unaware of the oracle's malevolent intentions, the dark schemes of the envious seer continued to fester like a poison in his heart. The oracle's mind was consumed with thoughts of revenge, his plans growing more sinister by the hour. With each passing day, his determination to bring ruin upon the kingdom only strengthened. As he waited for the perfect moment to strike, driven by his insatiable thirst for revenge, the oracle devised a new plan to shroud Akata in despair once more. With twisted cunning, he brought hardship upon the land, unleashing calamities even more devastating than before. Crops withered to dust, rivers ran dry, and sickness swept through the village like a plague. The once thriving kingdom now teetered on the brink of ruin, its people gripped by fear and desperation. And amidst the chaos, the oracle emerged from the shadows, his voice dripping with false sympathy. "King Adewale," he intoned, his eyes gleaming with malice. "The gods are angered once more. The gods are angered once more. They demand another sacrifice, a gesture of unwavering devotion and obedience." The king's heart clenched with dread as he listened to the oracle's words. Sacrifice his newborn daughter, the beacon of hope in a world shrouded in darkness. It was a cruel twist of fate, a test of his resolve that threatened to break him. Yet, bound by duty and haunted by the memory of his son's sacrifice, King Adewale found himself torn once more. Could he bear to lose another child and offer up her innocent life to appease vengeful deities? Amidst the turmoil, a young man stood apart from the crowd, his features hidden beneath a veil of shadow. He was the son of the oracle, a silent observer of his father's malevolent machinations. Though he had long suspected his father's intentions, he dared not confront him, knowing the consequences of defying the powerful seer. But as he watched the suffering unfold in Akata, his heart filled with a sense of righteous indignation. He could no longer stand idly by, while his father wreaked havoc upon the land, using his twisted desires to manipulate the lives of innocent people. With heavy steps, the king sought counsel from his closest advisors, their faces etched with sorrow and uncertainty. Together, they deliberated, weighed down by the burden of their decision. As the hours passed, the weight of responsibility bore down on King Adewale, his heart heavy with the impending choice he must make. In the end, he knew that whatever decision he made would shape the fate of his kingdom for generations to come. Gathering his courage, the young man approached his father, his voice steady, despite the fear that gnawed at his insides. "Father," he began, his words tinged with quiet resolve. "Why do you continue to bring hardship upon the land? What purpose does it serve?" The oracle's gaze turned upon his son, cold and calculating. "You dare question me?" he hissed, his voice dripping with venom. "You, who are nothing but a pawn in my grand design?" But the young man refused to back down, his voice unshaken. "I cannot stand by while you use your powers for selfish gain," he declared, his voice ringing with defiance. "The people of Akata suffer because of your hatred and envy. It is time to put an end to this madness." For a moment, silence hung heavy between them, the air thick with tension. Then, the cruel smile. The oracle turned to his son, his eyes flashing with malice. "Very well," he sneered. "If you wish to defy me, then you shall suffer the consequences." With a wave of his hand, the oracle unleashed a powerful spell, sending his son reeling backwards with a cry of pain. But even as he fell to the ground, the young man's resolve remained unbroken. Rising to his feet, he faced his father once more, his eyes burning with determination. "I may not have your powers, father," he said, his voice unwavering, "but I have something far more powerful, my conscience, and I will not rest until I have put an end to your tyranny and brought peace to this land." With those words, the oracle's son turned and walked away, leaving his father stunned and speechless. The young man knew that his journey would be difficult, but he was willing to face any challenge in order to fulfill his destiny and free the people from oppression. As the suffering continued to ravage the once thriving kingdom of Akata, King Adewale found himself faced with an impossible decision. The oracle demands for yet another sacrifice. This time, his newborn daughter weighed heavily on his heart. Though he longed for a miraculous solution, the king knew that time was running out, and he dreaded the moment when he would have to choose between his duty as a ruler and the love for his child. Amidst the despair, a glimmer of hope emerged as the son of the oracle, driven by a sense of justice and righteousness, sought to expose his father's nefarious schemes. With determination burning in his eyes, he approached the king, ready to reveal the truth and put an end to the suffering that plagued Akata. But before he could say anything, he was silenced for no apparent reason. His voice got lodged in his throat, and he fought to speak, as if an invisible power had taken away his power to communicate. Confusion clouded his features as he stared at the king, unable to convey the urgency of his message. King Adewale, taken away by the young man's abrupt transformation, could only watch in amazement as he wavered and stumbled, his lips moving silently. In his confusion, the king couldn't help but wonder whether this was the act of the gods themselves. The king bent his head in reverence, believing it to be a divine sign, silently begging for direction and wisdom in the midst of such uncertainty. He had no idea what was causing the young man's sudden illness, or what the oracle was up to in the shadows. Unknown to the king, the oracle had silenced the sun, his dark magic weaving a web of lies and deception to disguise the truth. With a twisted grin on his lips, the seer watched from a distance, rejoicing in his victory, while the monarch remained unaware of his deceit. And so, as the suffering in Akata deepened, and the king grappled with his conscience, the oracle's malevolent influence continued to cast a shadow over the land. But little did he know that even in the darkest of times, the seeds of hope and righteousness had been sown, ready to bloom and vanquish the darkness once and for all. As the day drew near for the sacrificial ritual to take place, the son of the oracle, still affected by his sudden weakness, retreated to the solitude of the forest, alone amidst the whispering trees and babbling brooks. He sought solace in prayer, beseeching the gods for guidance and deliverance from his father's dark influence. In the depths of his despair, the young man was granted a vision from the divine. A shimmering apparition materialized before him, radiant and otherworldly, being the unmistakable presence of the gods themselves. Their voices, like a chorus of celestial harmonies, resonated within his soul as they spoke to him. "Child of the forest," they intoned, their words carrying the weight of ages. "We have witnessed the deeds of your father, the oracle, and his descent into darkness. His actions have brought suffering and despair upon the land, and we are displeased." With a sullen nod, the son of the oracle listened intently, his heart heavy with the burden of their words. "But fear not, for we have not abandoned you," the divine apparition continued, their ethereal forms glowing with a soft golden light. "There is a path that lies before you, a journey that will lead you to reclaim your voice and unlock powers that surpass even those of your father." Eyes wide with wonder and awe, the young man absorbed the divine revelation. His spirit stirred with newfound hope. With a sense of purpose burning within him, he pledged himself to the God's will, determined to fulfill his destiny and put an end to his father's reign of darkness. With their guidance, he embarked on a pilgrimage to the faraway stream nestled deep within the heart of the forest, as the gods had instructed. The journey was arduous, fraught with peril and uncertainty, yet he pressed onward with unwavering resolve. Finally, as the sun filtered through the canopy above, he reached the sacred waters of the stream, its surface shimmering like liquid silver in the dappled light. With trembling hands, he waded into the cool embrace of the stream, surrendering himself to its cleansing touch. As the waters enveloped him, a surge of energy coursed through his veins, suffusing him with a power beyond comprehension. And in that moment, as he emerged from the stream, he felt a transformation taking place within him, as if he had been reborn anew. With a voice that rang clear and true, he spoke words of ancient power, invoking the blessings of the gods and channeling their divine energy. As he gazed upon his reflection in the rippling waters of the stream, he knew that he had been granted a gift that would change the course of destiny itself. Armed with his newfound powers and emboldened by the gods' favor, the son of the oracle, sets forth to confront his father once and for all, ready to challenge the darkness that threatened to engulf the land. As the day of the sacrificial ritual dawned, a heavy pall of sorrow hung over Akata, the king and queen. Their hearts, heavy with grief, bore their precious daughter to the appointed place where the oracle awaited, his eyes gleaming with malevolent anticipation. With each step, their anguish grew, tears streaming down their cheeks as they prepared to offer up their beloved child to appease the wrath of the gods. The oracle, his heart twisted with delight at the sight of their suffering, reveled in the misery he had wrought upon the land. As the procession neared the sacrificial ground, the oracle began his dark incantations, his words dripping with malice, as he prepared to claim another innocent life in the name of his own twisted desires. But as he raised the sacrificial blade high above his head, poised to strike the final blow, a figure emerged from the shadows, startling the gathered crowd. It was the son of the oracle, his eyes blazing with righteous fury as he confronted his father before the stunned onlookers. With a voice that rang out clear and strong, he denounced the oracle's wicked deeds, exposing his father's malevolent intentions for all to see. "Stop this madness, father," he cried, his words echoing through the sacrificial ground. "You have brought enough suffering upon this land. It is time to end this cycle of darkness and despair." The oracle's eyes widened in shock and disbelief, his grip faltering upon the sacrificial blade, as he faced the unexpected defiance of his own son. For a moment, silence descended upon the crowd, broken only by the sound of their labored breaths and the soft weeping of the king and queen. But as the truth of the oracle's treachery began to dawn upon them, a swell of anger rose within the hearts of the villagers. With a collective roar of outrage, they surged forward, their voices raised in defiance against the tyrants who had held them captive with fear and deception. As the crowd surged forward, intent on bringing justice to the oracle for his years of deception and cruelty, the seer's dark magic flared to life, casting a veil of confusion and chaos over the gathered villagers. Friend turned against friend, brother against brother, as the oracle manipulated their minds and twisted their perceptions to his will. But amidst the turmoil, the son of the oracle stood firm, his newfound powers a beacon of hope in the darkness. With a wave of his hand, he dispelled his father's illusions, revealing the truth to those who had been ensnared by the oracle's deceit. As clarity returned to the minds of the villagers, a cry of defiance rose from their lips, their determination renewed by the sight of their champion standing against the tyrant who had oppressed them for far too long. With a mighty clash, father and son met in battle, their powers colliding in a whirlwind of light and shadow. Sparks flew as they traded blows, each drawing upon their own reservoirs of mystical energy in a desperate bid for victory. The oracle, seasoned by years of wielding dark magic, seemed to hold the upper hand, his attacks relentless and unyielding. But his son, fueled by righteous fury and the guiding hand of the gods, refused to back down, drawing upon a strength that surpassed even his father's. As the battle raged on, the very earth trembled beneath their feet, the air crackling with raw power, as the forces of light and darkness clashed in a titanic struggle for supremacy. But just as it seemed that all hope was lost, the gods themselves intervened, their divine presence sweeping across the battlefield like a tempest. with a burst of celestial energy. They imbued the son of the oracle with their blessings, infusing him with a power that transcended mortal understanding. With newfound strength coursing through his veins, the son of the oracle surged forward, his resolve unshakable, as he faced his father in single combat. Blow by blow, he chipped away at the oracle's defenses, his determination unwavering despite the overwhelming odds. And then, in a final climatic clash, the son of the oracle delivered a devastating blow, striking down his father and bringing him to his knees. With a triumphant roar, he emerged victorious, his heart heavy with the weight of his actions, yet filled with the knowledge that he had finally brought an end to his father's reign of terror. As the dust settled, and the echoes of the battle faded into the distance, the people of Akata emerged from their hiding places, their faces alight with hope and relief. In his final moments, the oracle, defeated and broken, gazed upon the faces of those he had sought to oppress and control. With a bitter smile upon his lips, he uttered a chilling vow before vanishing into the ether. "I may be defeated today," he declared, his voice a whisper carried on the wind. "But mark my words, I shall return. And when I do, I'll bring destruction upon this land, and none shall be spared." But his son, standing tall amidst the wreckage of their battle, met his father's threats with unwavering resolve. With a voice that echoed with the strength of generations past, he delivered a response that would be etched into the annals of history. "Let it be known," he proclaimed, his words ringing clear and true, "that whenever you return, I shall be here to stand against you. For as long as I draw breath, I will protect this land and its people from the darkness that you seek to unleash." And with those words, the oracle's legacy was sealed. Though he had been defeated in battle, his shadow would linger in the hearts and minds of the people of Akata for years to come. The end. Overall, this story teaches valuable lessons about courage, unity, and consequences of hatred, the triumph of goodness, and the potential of redemption, offering readers insight into navigating the complexities of life and standing up for what is right.